Hello and welcome to Blockchange Solidarity, the podcast where we ask what blockchain can do for us. What is blockchain? What is crypto? Could it rescue us from our current dystopia? Come with us as we explore the very real potential to enhance human freedom and as we delve into the darker side, predicting the Bond villain potential of this current bleeding edge. Join us, a group of friends in a pub style, as we discuss the overlaps between this technology and politics, economics, the environment, culture and sci-fi, to understand for ourselves the seemingly mysterious futuristic world on our horizon. Bang bang! Welcome back to Blockchain Solidarity, everyone. We have another week of this. It's a bit of a special episode this week. We are going to be announcing the creation of a new pod. We have a few pods on the go, but we thought we'd introduce this one as it's a little bit more developed on and ready to go. And folks listening might already know that we've had, this is a reincarnation of a team that have been together for a few weeks, then a few episodes under the name the Anti-Crypto Fraud Squad, which looked at frauds and scams and dystopias in the crypto world. And we thought, got such a good response in the episodes and the clips that we make that we need to do this, and we're all intrigued about it. So we said, let's reincarnate it in a different, in its own pod. So we have here two of the guys, one of which you know already, Cal. He's joined us for a few of the episodes already. But Blockcoins or as you will hear, I should say, you can't see anything, is joining us for the first time, but he's been a part of this project for a while, and he's just had a busy Christmas, so he's joining us now. So, Blockcoins, why don't you, or Pudding, however you want to introduce yourself, why don't you say hello to everyone?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, you can call me Buttcoins or Pudding. Either one is fine for me. Both the anonymous names of this crypto world. Maybe I'm the scammer.
Yeah, how many aliases do you need, bro?
Yeah, I need a lot of aliases, one for every different social media, right?
One for every scam that you're pulling.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
It's good to have you on, man. And Kyle, how are you, buddy? Good to have you back.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Yeah, all good. A little bit late in the day here in the UK, but yeah, happy to be here, man. All good. How are you?
Awesome, I'm pretty good. Well, I'm in rainy Sao Paulo, and my internet's been rubbish, so I'm not in the best of moods, everyone, but we'll try and get on with this anyway, because I'm excited about this sub-pod. It's like, we've titled it Crypto Dark. Anti-Crypto Fraud Squad's a bit focused on frauds and scams, and we want to be looking at dystopias, and we want to be also have a look at why these kind of things happen. Why is this darkness in crypto happening, right? So we have other pods that look at the light of crypto, the good stuff. This one's focused on the dark stuff. So we titled it Crypto Dark Pod, and it's going to be launched in the next couple of weeks. We'll hopefully get the first episode out, give you a bit more information, talk a bit more at length. But today we just wanted to get to know everyone. We are missing Luke. Luke will be the fourth person on that pod. He's unfortunately not able to join us today. But yeah, guys, like, Cal's obviously been involved in the Anti-Crypto Fraud Squad episodes. Pudding, what has always interested you? Tell the audience what's always interested you about this darker side of crypto.
Well, for me, I see this podcast as like this great opportunity to chat about these various scams that are coming up, and we obviously have lots of new people, like every single year are finally coming around to realizing that maybe the banking system of the world is not the way forward, and as more and more new people come in, it's just like ripe for dirtbags and scumbags to like find all these noobs. And so like I see this as a great way to shine some light in these dark places and learn while we're at it, and like learn, I'm sure I could fall for a scam as well. I'd like to think I wouldn't, but I'm interested in discovering and seeing what's going on out there so that I'm not getting caught in one of these traps, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's such a down to earth way of saying it. Anyone could get caught. Anyone has got caught. The good and the high and the low, shall we put it that way? The folks at the top of the pyramid and the little guys at the bottom. Everyone seems to be getting blown out, and everyone can get blown out by it. And it's there's a lot of people that just are interested in covering these kind of scams, and another set of people who want to avoid the dystopias of crypto. Kyle, what about you? You've enjoyed the episodes we've done so far. What about this, like uncovering the fraud and the darkness of crypto? Do you enjoy?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good to me. I'm just here so Botcoins can teach me how to not get scammed, really. I'm just along for the ride.
Top tips,
Yeah.
Top tips. Well, yeah,
But no, I'm a bit of a casual crypto guy, as you know. So yeah, I'm learning every pod myself, and I'm also doing a bit of research, and yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and so just to give everyone an idea, how the conceptualization of this process of this podcast, I should say, has processed in the last few weeks. We initially thought, should we just do a case study on a fraud or a big scam every 2 weeks, and then we maybe thought, okay, what if we do like a more individual or local community scam 1 week, and then a big global crypto scam the next week. And then we got to thinking, and Pudding was instrumental in this. Pudding / Buckcoins. We'll go with Pudding for now. It always makes me warm inside. Yeah, Pudding was instrumental in making us think, like, guys, we could do one episode every 2 weeks where we dive into like a real case study fraud. And then the next episode, 2 per month, the next episode could be a look at why it happens. What is it about our vulnerabilities, the systemic vulnerabilities? What leads scammers to do it? What leads us to get stuck in and fall for it? We all could. Is stupid the right word? Is sheep the right word? Or victim the right word? What about FOMO? Why? What is behind FOMO? What's behind FUD? All these kind of conceptual questions where we could, for 1 hour every 2 weeks, just dive in and have like a social humanities kind of department study about why all this is happening and how to avoid it, really. So that's the way we thought we'd go, isn't it, Pudding?
Yeah, we were saying, like, if certain things that were coming up in as we did like a sort of a forensic anatomy of a specific scam, and then we saw the mechanisms of why it was happening. Then the following week we could talk about the psychologies of like what it is about human nature that either lends ourselves to getting sucked into these things, and or like what it is that like drives the scammer. What are obviously the motivations behind the scammer is to like make money and to earn the money, but like I personally get fascinated by who are these fucking people? I just like I literally like have for years been. I had one today. Like if we're just like I got this person. They're writing me, and they're they always start the same. These things like it's like hello, some random message on WhatsApp, and I'm like hello, and then it's like how are you? I'm great. How are you? Like I'm this like. And who are you? And then it's just like I'm just like wait. It's just they lead you in, and they're just waiting for you to like ask the thing so that they can like launch into whatever it is their scam. So I'm currently at that phase of this. I'm waiting for the next response, but I get a kick out of actually like going into these. Like I see that it's a scammer, and I'm just like, let's see what we can find out with this fucker.
So there's a little bit of darkness in you, man, for sure, and maybe that exploration of yourself and exploration of your surroundings and how these things happen has led you to think that this might be a good idea for this podcast. Because I think we all sort of question that, don't we? Like I find myself. I'd be keen to ask you, Kyle, if this is the way you think as well. Like when I listen to the Logan Paul Crypto Zoo scam, I don't know if you guys have caught this yet. I know maybe Kyle has. Pudding, have you seen this yet?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
you've seen that. Yeah, Kyle, you've seen it too, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. It's unbelievable how much that guy you can tell really cares about his money, really, doesn't he? He's really monetizing his fans, and Yeah, he sold them a bad one with that one.
Well, this is it. And when I was listening to that whole documentary by Coffeezilla, the 3 parts or whatever it was, really like it's fascinating, the whole dynamics, how it's uncovered, the text messages, everything, the whole process, like from beginning to end, the reveals and all that, the rest of it is fascinating. And the weeks that we go through those kind of case studies and replicate Coffeezilla, not too much but quite closely, will be fascinating for folks and for us. But I remember one thing Coffeezilla did. I think it was how he ended his first episode. It was when he showed the text message that Logan had sent, and Logan had said, "No, bro, I am that guy." I don't know if you remember that. Like,
Oh,
yeah, I remember that bit. Yeah,
remember that? I got off my seat and I was like, "Oh,
pretty
whoa,
evil.
whoa, whoa!" Like that's it. That for me is the insight into the human being, the psychology. No, bro, I am that guy that will bugger over people, my fans, my supporters. That for me was the most fascinating bit, and that's getting to what we're talking about here, folks. That reveal of the human being, like we could in these episodes dive into who Logan Paul is, why is he doing that, what's his journey, like what leads people to want to bugger over your own audience for the sake of that amount of money. Like, so I think those things are fascinating. People are interested to know what leads people to do that.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you saw like just the tail end from yesterday. He initially like did a video like kind of taking the shit out of Coffeezilla and threatening to like sue him. And now he's like Logan Paul's removed that video and like publicly apologized to Coffeezilla and called him personally and was like, "I'm gonna do right by people." Like like the backtrack.
Yeah, the backtrack. I eventually spoke to my lawyers in New York, and the lawyers were like, "Logan, just make a call, you silly little boy, just wipe this up." And that's it. Look, we can talk about what leads people to make silly decisions like calling out Coffeezilla when the evidence is clear. What's the vulnerabilities? What's the dynamics that in that video that he made calling out Coffeezilla was so pathetic, but he may have thought he might have been so proud of it at the time. And then what's the systemic things around the next step where he backs off? So is the guy evil? Is the guy stupid? Is the guy Machiavellian? Like, and then realistic when the lawyers step in. So
like for me, like I look at some of these things, and I really like I lean towards like the natural side of like the way humans like move, and so I see like, okay, Logan Paul becomes big, he relies on fans, he pulls them in, they're so important to the world, and then all of a sudden they become these anonymous numbers and these anonymous like, it's just like these comment threads that you could never read, and you could never, and then so then fans become dehumanized, and then they just become vessels, and so then they're just piggy banks, you got a whole shitload of piggy banks out there, and who fucking cares about them, like break one and there'll be another one to come along, like, and you just like I think you get bigger and you lose your morality. It's this whole like greed, like ultimate power corrupts. It's like a different form of like social media power, but it's still like this thing, like I think it happens really naturally, and I can kind of see why. And I don't know if any of us would be any different if all of a sudden we had like millions of people. Like would we or would we not? Like, that's the question.
And that leads me, just as you're saying that, and Kyle, you were on the Safe Moon episode, if you can remember this guy. Do you remember we talked about this? And it leads I think it answers your question, pudding, or maybe puts up another. In the Safe Moon scam, there was a guy that created a Twitter account that called out Safe Moon, right? And he was seen as the guy that early called out the scam and why it was a scam, and he got a whole new following of himself for calling out against the scam that was Safe Moon, right? And then what happened? He turned into a scammer himself. He created his own coin when he had that level of... It would almost be like Coffeezilla making a coin now. Not quite, But that same thing, that someone who calls out the scam is a moral crusader on the internet against it for ages, and then he turns against this community himself. So what am I saying there is, could we, and this is the sort of discussions, folks listening, that we will go in on these kind of episodes. We'll make these cross references. Is it possible that Coffeezilla could fall in? Pudding, is that what you're saying? We're all the same. Come a level of influence and power, even the great Coffeezilla could come down. Is that what you're saying?
I'm basically saying, it's not without reason. I mean, I get the sense he's got a strong set of morals. I've heard in a few of his shows him talk about this very subject. And I think of anybody, he's got to be more careful than, like, he's got to be the
right,
the flagship of morality in this world. But, like, he's kind of like, that's his role. So I sort of would find it hard for him to fall down that, but, like, this is his world. So, like, it would be the ultimate hypocrisy. But I mean, you take somebody else that is not in it, is just like some sort of, like, Logan Paul had nothing to do with crypto, right? It was more like, oh, look, here's another avenue for making money. And, like, it's like he was throwing spaghetti against the wall, and crypto just happened to be NFTs or whatever, like, this is like one of the directions he went. But, like, so maybe that lent it for him to, like, fall into this using his like, user base, like, but I personally would struggle to see Coffeezilla doing it. But I also think you never know.
Hey everyone, it's Alex. Just taking a second away from the chat to say thank you again for joining us on this journey. If you like what we're doing, please consider supporting us on our Patreon. We've put the link in the description. Times are very tough out there, so you can also help us in other ways, such as sharing or liking our content on social media, rating our podcast on iTunes, or just spreading the word about our project to your friends and networks. We've put all of these links in the description. Help us build the people system with blockchain. Now, let's get back to the chat.
Well, you could say, and Kyle, I want to ask you a question here. Like, you could say that getting to the truth is Coffeezilla's business. Now, if doing something else was his business, but for a bigger number, who knows? I'm not putting anything on Coffeezilla. I'm just saying these are philosophical questions we'll get into, folks. At what stage do we drop the business because something else is more profitable? Kyle, what do you think? Do you think Logan Paul is just a victim of his circumstances? And people say that he did this scam because he was sunk, because who was that boxer he fought who didn't pay him? Floyd Mayweather didn't pay him.
Floyd Mayweather.
So is there any moral sort of leeway for Logan Paul here because he was screwed over, so he was angry and wanted to screw the world back?
Yeah, I guess so. The guy's just got so much money, in my opinion. I don't get why or where his I don't know how he feels the need to rip off his fans like that. He must know what's going on and know the risk involved. I don't have much sympathy for it. Do you know KSI, the guy that he's always linked with, that he does the energy drink with? Prime? Yeah, I think he lost £8 million in NFTs. So I think Logan Paul also probably lost a bit of his own money as well. But there's I'm just guessing here. So I don't know. I think he also did lose big himself, but he's put loads of money on Pokemon cards and things in the past, hasn't he? And he's been ripped off.
He's no stranger to it.
He's no stranger to it. But I don't just see, because it creates content at the end of the day, so he still makes money off it. But I don't get why he has to drag his fan base in. And a lot of them are young, aren't they?
With, they're just normal working people. But there is a lot of fans I've seen out there that say that he got screwed over by Floyd Mayweather. The world is a harsh world. And other people saying, I don't agree with any of it, and other people saying, well, he was screwed over by the people that stole from him too, within the crypto zoo. Anyway, we could go. Let's leave this for the actual episode. We'll get dragged into it so deep. It's just giving people a lesson.
I look forward to researching that one.
But folks, I just want to let folks know as well. We'll dive deeper into these kind of questions on the scammer side. We'll dive into questions on the scam side, like what leads people to want to jump into something like crypto zoo. Like what are the reasons why hope and systemic reasons we're all broke? Like what's the reasons, and how do these dynamics come around? And what is the step by step kind of psychological dynamics that pull people in? Like a thread, like they just pull you in little by little, and any of us can get suckered into it. At the end of the day, if you're promised big winnings, we could all get suckered in. But on the other side of this, we're also not just talking about frauds and scams, of course, and the psychology and everything around that. We want to talk about dystopias. So CBDCs, we've already spoke about, Cal. Me and you did the episode on that. Similar kind of episode on the flip side of that for these kind of episodes, the psychology element. What is it leading governments to want to have power? Like, why are they doing this? Why will people get sucked into CBDC, UBI? Like, how do we even go about thinking to stop that? So whilst we do an episode on what it is, this kind of thing is the why of why we could end up with dystopia. Why did the Chinese people have a social credit system? Why are we losing our freedoms as well and going that direction in the West? These are all interesting questions. I can't wait to get stuck into them.
Yeah, I mean, like, like you start talking about that stuff, it's like really obvious to me why a government wants that, because you can't hide it. It's all trackable, so it's like fucking candy for some politician. Like, oh sweet, we can just watch this money no matter where it goes, and we can just turn it off the second we label you a criminal or whatever. I mean, Jesus, that's like. Just if we think about that power corrupting thing, oh my God, like think about how much power that is. Like for me, you talk about dystopia, that is the level of like, if the world goes that direction, which it obviously feels like it is, if we don't fight back and have our own like decentralized ones, like, man, we're like, it's like, it gets to be a pretty ugly little place.
It's the ugliest vision of the world you can imagine. Like, and me and Cal spoke about that. I remember, Cal, we came up with a statistic that said something like only between 4 and 12% of people would voluntarily at this stage adopt CBDCs, given what they know. Meaning the vast majority don't want that. But
no, but the majority will sleepwalk into it. Or just with a couple of like little advantages, that they'll be sold. They'll take it up. And
that is the problem. And I think these episodes, for folks listening in, and part of our reason for doing this kind of thing is not just have a discussion between us for the sake of it and for fun. And no, that's intellectually interesting. We want these episodes to go out. We want our audience and the word to spread that we're having discussions about why government are doing it and why people are likely to get sleepwalked into it. And so if I'm listening on the other end going, you'll get sleepwalked into it because you've been sleepwalked into things all your life. That's the way the system works. Waking up, here's what's the danger is and why. I might just sit up and take note, So the talking about why and the really going into this, I think it can do a great service to help waking people up, What do you guys think?
Absolutely. I mean, whether it be the CBDCs or even just getting into like kind of getting into the use case territory of any crypto, whether it be NFTs. Like, well, let's talk about what could actually be a positive use for an NFT. And then look at the negative and then be like, well, then you can just see the stupid, pointless use of NFTs. And then you can see like, hey, this is an actual use case that could really be positive. We look at these things and we look at the black and we look at the white so that when these things come across us in our existence, we have some background knowledge. So we're not just getting kind of blindly listening to whatever the pitch is, right? We've got some sort of like framework of understanding, that this is, I see this as like an amazing opportunity for people to like sort of learn.
I think so too. And I think we'd have to do it like on the other pods under Blockchange, Solidarity will be focusing on the good stuff in crypto and trying to get the message out about that. But I think if we're focusing on bringing out the dark, you're right, Pudding. We have to set it against the light, because people have to realize the extent of the dark set against the light option, right? That's the yin and the yang, or whatever you want to say. But we have to present what the light is, and then go into how dark the darkness is. So NFTs is another example. You're right. Well, if I was listening in and I heard the good use cases for NFTs, and then you said, but that's not happening, guys, but this dark, stupid nonsense for NFTs is happening, I'd be going, oh, what the fuck are we doing in crypto and NFT? What are we doing? Oh my God. So,
or even how when you dive into the light and then you see like, you see like, oh, this is actually a blanket. Like they're showing you the light side, but this is bullshit, and being able to spot that as well. Like, oh, look, this NFT, and every time you buy an NFT, we're gonna plant a tree, this type of shit, and it's like, okay, what, just recognizing that's a fucking mechanism, like,
right.
So it's like, okay, well, show me the trees. Where are the trees? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, getting people to DYOR, like, not just accept these things. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like, and what was it like? Buy a seed so that you can invest in a plant that will buy a starship. That will take your seed across the galaxy to a forest on, I don't know, some like far-reaching planet, and then in 500 years you'll get a return. It's just like endless. So it is about calling bullshit. It's about calling out the bullshit. You're right. Yeah. So yeah, folks, that's it. Like, I think you kind of get a gist of where we're going with this. Like, we're gonna bring out the dark and then put it against the light, and really have a bit of fun. We'll joke around, but it is serious stuff, and we want everyone to learn and be aware, call out the shit, and educate everyone on how to avoid it. Practical tips we'll get in there as well. But also thinking about and talking about the why this is happening, so people can have some mental and intellectual resources and thought processes about what leads people into it, and then how to avoid it yourself. Because I think practical tips is one thing, important, but so much of this is about the FOMO and the FUD and all the rest of it, when we get dragged into this stuff. So I think a fuller understanding of human nature, psychology, all of this around it is going to be helpful for folks. So shall we leave it there? I mean, it's just a short episode introduction. We'll have Luke, hopefully, in these episodes. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to join us today. What else is there to add? We have a few more jingles to sort out for the pod, but we're close, folks. So we're hoping to get an episode out, as I said at the start, in like a week or two. This one will go out on Blockchange, and then the next one will be actually on the pod. So take a look out. We'll put it across all the socials, and we hope you enjoy it. Yeah, we're going to have fun with it, and we think it's really important. Any last words, guys? Or we'll look forward to getting together again.
Well, thanks for inviting me in. I'm looking forward to it, and I think for me, this sounds like fun.
Sounds like fun. Yeah, Cal, what about you? Looking forward to all of this?
Yeah, man, definitely. Yeah, looking forward to getting into some new topics and just getting stuck in, really.
And everyone subscribe to Coffeezilla, because we're going to need his resources going forward. What a great guy. Yeah, he's so good at what he does. Okay, thanks for listening, folks. And thanks, guys, for joining. And we'll leave it there. And we'll look forward to catching you again on the first episode of Crypto Dark Pod, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.